I'm going to pause the recording for just a moment and then start it back up. I want to pull up a file that I don't have and don't want to take the time in the recording to do that. So hang on just a minute. Okay. So the last thing I wanted to do before closing out this series was to have you look at a resource that can help you teach. May have some materials to help you teach this. So let me share my screen this time. And here we go. This is a website called InsideMathematics.org, and this is a project that is to provide professional resources for teaching mathematics, and they've really started aligning with the Common Core. So there's some neat classroom videos, but what I wanted to do was to show you kind of how you can sort through this and look for some pieces to help reinforce some of these major concepts we've been talking about today. So I'm going to click on Common Core Standards, and when that opens up, you'll see some different pieces for the Common Core, but I'm actually going to go to the content standards. You can look at the mathematical practices, but we're going to look at the content standards. And as you look at this website, you can see that, a little bigger, that they have things categorized by, might be easier to see this way, categorized by grade level, so you can find things for all standards in your grade level. Not every standard is, tagged, but most of them are. But you can also find it by domain or progression, as they call it. And so I'm going to go here and look at measurement and data because that's where we are. And they have different resources for different grade levels then. So this is kind of like a vertical look at what is happening. And I'm going to go down to some of the 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade tasks. And so you'll see here a couple of pieces, some tasks from the MARS project, which is the Mathematical Assessment Resource Project, as well as some from their Problem of the Month. And some of these are PDFs, but I was looking to see, yeah, here's one with volume, how many cubes? And so when you click on that, it'll take you to a performance task that assesses some of the standards we have just been talking about in terms of volume and understanding this concept of volume and multiplication. So I'm going to go down and show you the standard itself, the task itself. So this is certainly a task that you would want to give after kids have had some experience with volume and with the whole concept of volume, as well as the process of measuring volume. And so it asks the kids, it gives you the dimensions, and it has the, unit cubes kind of sketched out on the outside so they can see kind of how it would be filled up, and then they have to see how many cubes can fit into the different boxes. Now, it doesn't stop there, though. They then give them another box that has different dimensions measured and ask them to, extend their understanding to figure out which is, how the volume is being measured. And then they have the rubric for you here, too, to help you assess this. So the point being here that this is a resource inside mathematics that can help you kind of find some sample tasks that might help you figure out if students are understanding what's going on with the measurement and data in this this domain. So again, this is not going to be a comprehensive kind of assessment tool, but it'll definitely give you some tasks that can help you make some judgment as far as where students are coming to you from. So that's a quick resource I wanted to showcase that we had not talked about yet. that you can definitely use, not just for the area, for the measurement data that we've been talking about, area and volume for third and fifth, and then angle measure for fourth, but also then across your curriculum. So, so that's just a quick resource that you can use. What I want to do now, though, is to take one last look then at the illustrativemathematics.org website, just to highlight a couple of other pieces in geometry that might help you in this measurement and data sense too. So if I click on K8 standards, I'm going to open up geometry, and we're going to take a look at quickly third grade and see if there are any other geometry standards that contribute to that understanding of measurement and data. So if we look here, we see that in third grade, I'm going to be working with the students on shapes and, quadrilaterals and categories, and then also this idea of partitioning shapes into parts with equal area. So I've got to kind of marry what we've talked about with the development of area with this standard. So, if I think about my third grade instruction, I may have to weave in and out of this, domain with the measurement and data domain. And so it's not just about teaching each domain separately. Remember that whole kind of horizontal coherence piece. If we open up the fourth grade standards and look at them, you'll see that you're doing in fourth grade the theoretical and the geometric development of angles. So you're going to need to do that and have them understand about what angles are and work with angles and figures in concert with the measurement piece. So you see this horizontal coherence here. So my fourth grade geometry standards for angles are absolutely married to the measurement and data standards with angles. And so those are things I would definitely do in partnership with one another. And then finally, if we look at fifth grade rather, fifth grade's a little bit of a different bird because we have this kind of throwing in of the coordinate plane. We start that. It connects to some of the data pieces for fifth grade. But then also our crowning achievement, as we talked about in the last webinar, is that fifth graders have a comprehensive understanding of the hierarchy for quadrilateral. And so that's and the idea that figures have a hierarchy is not necessarily a good marriage with our volume, but it is in the sense of, whole understanding of rectangles and their attributes, which will be important when we're talking about volume. So you can see here this horizontal coherence maybe is a little bit better for third and fourth grade than for fifth grade. So that's important to keep in mind in terms of, we kind of have these geometry standards for fifth grade that are a little bit out of sorts with the rest of our stuff. But certainly when we talk about third and fourth grade, we definitely have some real consistency there. So let's look then one last time at any other measurement and data standards to see if we can make some, conclusions there. So in third grade, you'll see that the ones we haven't talked about, we really looked at measurement in the sense of the geometric measurement, but they are doing other measurements in third grade, which is important to know, which is the liquid volume, which is a different kind of measurement than stacking up all those cubes, which certainly you can connect to when you get to fifth grade. And then we have this idea of elapsed time and masses and volume. So that's an introductory piece in third grade that serves as a foundation for fifth grade in geometric measurement. And then you see also we have some data pieces in third grade we need to worry about. I haven't talked about those in this series, but those are pretty self-explanatory in terms of the data measurement. Now, if we look at fourth grade then, Those are the third grade standards. Look, here, let me collapse these. I'll make it a little bit easier. Let me hide the third grade. If we look at fourth grade, then let's see what else is going on with measurement and data. We start this idea about units, which is absolutely kind of, you know, wed to what they started in third grade. So we've got to take what we did in third grade with the, you know, extension of linear measurement into area measurement, and then work on those units and, you know, understand the relative size and convert them. And then we're going to solve more problems involving time, math, and money, and then apply those area and perimeter formulas that we learned in third grade. We're going to apply them in fourth grade. So that's an important extension there. And then we have a little bit of data in third grade, but all in the idea of making measurements in fractions of a unit. So, you know, the angle piece in fourth grade is more of a connection to the geometry standards than it is the rest of the measurement data. All right, and then let's take one last look then at fifth grade and see that, oh, okay, so in fifth grade, I need to include this conversion of units within a measurement system, and then I'm going to operate with those fractions of a unit that I started in fourth grade. So you'll see that there's not as much in fifth grade as maybe the others because we're doing all that work with the hierarchy of the shape. So I would say the geometry in fifth grade takes kind of a front seat to some of the volume and the other measurement data work we're doing. Okay. So that kind of gives you so that gives you a sense then of how the standards I really dug into this afternoon are connected then to what we were talking about earlier, or not connected in that manner. So there's going to be times when you find lots of coherence, and other times where some of the topics are kind of, you know, off to themselves. So let me then finish my slides here, do one last share with you with those, and we'll close out the session. Okay, so this ends our webinar series. We did not dig into every single standard at every grade level, but my goal was to give you enough of a flavor of what those major domains areas are. Remember, we started and spent 2 sessions of the 4 sessions on fractions, because that's a real big change for third grade, fourth grade, and fifth grade for that matter. And I would invite you to look at our website to find the rest of the webinar series if you haven't joined before, as well as if you're interested in the other grade bands, kindergarten through 2nd, 6th through 8, or 9th through 12. And as I mentioned prior to this session and today, we do make these materials available to anyone. So please pass this along to your colleagues and take advantage of them. And again, if you have questions, please feel free to email me. So, this ends our series for grades 3, 4, and 5, and I appreciate your attendance and participation, and look forward to keeping on this journey of implementing the Common Core. Have a great afternoon.